I worked until January, and then I took time away from my job. And one of the major reasons I could do so was because I knew that if I ran out of my savings, my family would be able to support me.
Last time you were on this program, you were unequivocal in saying you do not like capitalism. But Trump, just in those remarks there, I counted, called you a communist 8 times. Are you?
No. I'm a democratic socialist. I've said that time and again. And what we're seeing in these clips and what we're seeing in what Donald Trump says is he's going through the many stages of grief. First, it's denial that this could ever take place. Now it's acceptance. And still through it all, he is looking to use every tool at his disposal to help Andrew Cuomo become the next mayor of the city.
You are a communist! Cuba! This is not Cuba, you fool!
In today's video, New York City is staring straight into the abyss. With the mayor's race right around the corner, 33-year-old Mamdani, a self-proclaimed democratic socialist, is leading all candidates. And if he actually wins, let's be clear, the sinking ship that is New York City won't just keep drifting. It'll go straight underwater. Because what we're watching isn't a campaign, it's the prelude to an all-out collapse. You see, the real threat with Mamdani isn't just some gimmick with free buses and socialist grocery stores. What he's pushing is bigger than that. It's about turning New York City into the stage ground for open defiance against the federal government, especially when it comes to crime enforcement, specifically immigration law. And we'll break all of that down in a moment. But first, let's roll the tape. Here's Mamdani admitting that his so-called free bus plan isn't actually free at all. It would hit taxpayers for $600 to $700 million per year. Translation, higher taxes.
People who ask me questions about, is it possible to make buses fast and free? I say the cost would be about $600-700 million, which is less than Andrew Cuomo gave to Elon Musk one year in tax breaks of $959 million. Showing people the context that we're in and building a coalition where they may not see themselves in me, perhaps, but they may see themselves in the best and the brightest that I'll hire to surround me in City Hall.
So Mamdani wants people to believe that his free bus, pie in the sky free bus program, it's a step in the right direction when it comes to getting New York City back on track. But let me ask you this question. I don't think this takes a rocket science to really figure it out. Let me ask you this question. What do you think happens when you make buses free in a major city? What do you think is going to happen? Well, luckily, you don't have to really even answer that question if you're maybe not sure, because it's been tried. Ask Kansas City. They tried it, and now their $50 million experiment has hit the brakes because the city ran out of money, and riders and conductors slammed the buses as unreliable, filthy, rolling homeless shelters. And that was in Kansas City. Imagine what that will look like in New York City. And when he's pressed on details, it only gets worse. Watch how Mamdani tries to word salad his way out of a straightforward question about decriminalizing prostitution. The reporter doubles down, and what comes out next is pure loony logic. Whoa. So let me get this straight. Mamdani's argument is that by decriminalizing prostitution, it somehow makes things safer for the sex workers. But here's the thing I'm trying to wrap my mind around and just understand. How does that deter the traffickers? If anything, it does the opposite. Think about it. If a trafficker knows the women they're exploiting won't face any legal penalty, then they have absolutely nothing to lose. It becomes open season. They can funnel in even more women into the system. That doesn't protect women. That puts even more women into the crosshairs. And that's the kind of backwards logic that Mamdani's trying to sell to New Yorkers as progress. Because let's be clear when we talk about this. Prostitution isn't just a bunch of independent adults making free choices, no matter how much activists try and dress it up. I mean, if it was actually just that, it'd be a different conversation, but it's not. A huge percentage of these cases involve fraud, force, and coercion. And so when Mamdani tries to sell this as some sort of safety measure, what he's really doing is weakening one of the very few pressure points the law has to disrupt trafficking networks. But it gets even worse. Mamdani has promised to funnel more than $100 million of New Yorkers' hard-earned tax dollars into programs to shield illegal immigrants, including ones with criminal records, from U.S. immigration law. In plain English, he wants New Yorkers to pay for people to break the law. Just don't take my word for it. Here's him laying it out himself.
Our campaign is one that stands by the actual enforcement of the law as it is here in New York City, with sanctuary city policies that have kept us safe. I would also commit to increasing the staffing of our law department by 200 to bring us back to pre-COVID levels, and to ensure that when we look at this city, we are using every tool at our disposal to keep New Yorkers together, to keep families together. 400,000 of our residents are right now in urgent risk of deportation. The city knows that when it provides legal assistance to those same New Yorkers, their chances of going home increase 11-fold, and yet it has only assisted fewer than 200 of those New Yorkers. That's why also a cornerstone of our campaign is a commitment to increase funding for those very legal defense services by more than $100 million, so that we can ensure we're taking every step we can to keep New Yorkers safe, to keep New Yorkers together, and to show the world that they are welcome in this city.
So let's be crystal clear about what he just said. Mamdani wants to take over $100 million from the pockets of New Yorkers, a city already drowning in debt, crumbling in infrastructure, and out of control with crime, and redirect it to people who aren't even supposed to be here. That means tax dollars, instead of going to schools, fix the streets, make communities safer, would be used to shield people who broke the law to get here, and in some cases have broken more laws since they've arrived. This isn't compassion, it's chaos. Because every dollar spent helping someone evade federal law is a dollar stolen from the citizen who followed it. And if the message is that New York rewards lawbreaking while punishing taxpayers, then guess what? You're not just encouraging more illegal crossings. You're sending a signal worldwide that New York City is open for abuse. And the working class New Yorkers who can't afford to leave will be the ones left to pick up the tab. And if you thought the spending spree ended there, think again. Mamdani's proposing to spend $65 million to make New York the so-called gender-affirming hub, flying people in, putting them in hotels, and covering surgeries and prescriptions, all on the taxpayer's dime. While New Yorkers struggle with rent, crime, and crumbling services, their tax dollars will be redirected to fund free medical tourism.
Zoran is literally attempting to do what conservatives say, we want to do, which is provide gender-affirming care to anyone who wants it for free, and we're going to ship people, we're going to fly people in and pay for their hotel rooms, and we're going to do all of the Fox News stuff. We're getting ideas from Fox News. I want to do that. We're like that. We wrote the platform with him. The team was so happy to work with us on this, and now he's going to be mayor. New York City could provide trans health care for every trans person in the country who, can't afford it. And it would be a blip on our radar.
And one of the things that we've said, beyond saying that we're going to make this a sanctuary city for LGBTQIA plus workers, beyond saying that we're going to establish an office of LGBTQIA plus affairs, is also that we're going to provide $65 million in funding for gender-affirming care, the same amount of funding that the federal government threatened to pull out from local providers for that kind of work. And in this moment especially, that we want to fight the Trump administration, we have to do so by fully funding our own services, taxing the wealthiest New Yorkers and corporations here.
But here's the real question. How does he plan on paying for all of this? Because the answer is always the same. Tax the wealthiest, squeeze corporations. But what happens when those very people and businesses pack up and leave? Then what? The tax base shrinks, jobs disappear, and the burden falls back on the middle class. The very people already struggling to stay afloat day to day. And so instead of fixing the city's problem, Mamdani's plan is to set up a vicious cycle. Drive out wealth, hollow out opportunity, and then stick the everyday New Yorker with the bill. Basically Portland, only on the East Coast. Portland 2.0, a once great city that has long since seen its best days. And this kind of delusional talk is what happens when you live in that tiny Democratic bubble. You get a platform built on being the most anti-Trump candidate imaginable. Free buses, sanctuary city, illegal immigration for all, gender affirming everything. The problem is, if Zoran Mamdani actually wins, Who do you think he's going to spend his mayorship appealing to? The everyday New Yorker who pulled the lever because they're desperate over affordability? Or the radical left that cheer for more money for illegal immigration, more money for gender-affirming tourism, and the most hardline anti-Trump policies possible? I think you already know the answer. And the most dangerous part about all of this is the money situation, because he's not going to get the money from the federal government, especially under Trump. We'll get into that in a moment, which means the only place he'll be able to squeeze it from are the taxpayers. But back to the president's thoughts on the self-proclaimed democratic socialist. He tweeted out on X, self-proclaimed New York City communist Zohran Mamdani, who is running for mayor, will prove to be one of the best things to ever happen to our great Republican Party. He is going to have problems with Washington like no mayor in the history of our once great city. Remember, he needs the money from me as president in order to fulfill all his fake communist promises. He won't be getting any of it. So what's the point of voting for him? This ideology has failed always for thousands of years. It will fail again, and that's guaranteed. So there you have it. The president has made it plain. Washington isn't going to hand over federal dollars to fund his agenda. And really, why should they? You can't promise free buses, gender-affirming tourism, and hundreds of millions of dollars to illegal immigrants, then expect taxpayers nationwide to foot the bill. The truth is, Mamdani's entire platform only makes sense inside a radical leftist bubble. In the real world, with New York City's budget already strained, crime rising, it's a recipe for collapse. And if he wins, it won't be Trump, it won't be Washington that pays the price. It'll be everyday New Yorkers. Because with Mamdani, New Yorkers are choosing to sink the city under the weight of policies that can't survive outside of fantasy. And as Trump tweet makes clear, the federal government isn't going to save New York from itself. But guys, let me know what you think about this entire situation. Don't forget, you enjoy any part of the content, go ahead and smash the like button for more. Subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.